Today we'll be taking a look at Cardano's ADA coin, performing some technical analysis and making some predictions on where we can expect to see the price of ADA go in the near future. Let's get into it. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another crypto video. We're once again checking in on ADA coin, and whilst the entire crypto market seems to be running at the moment, Cardano's ADA coin isn't actually doing that much. But does that mean we're in for an even bigger move in the future? Well, let's have a look today and find out. But before we get into all that good stuff, guys, please remember to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy today's video. If you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. We cover crypto, stocks, investing and wealth management. And of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on Cardano down in the comments section of today's video. But let's get straight into today's analysis. Welcome into the ADA coin chart, guys. If you're looking to buy ADA or just want some free Bitcoin, there are a couple of links down in the description of today's video. But the last time we took a look at Cardano was right here on the 11th of October, and you can see from that point in time, honestly, not much has happened. We are in what I would call a very tight stage of consolidation. Our volume hasn't really done too much apart from a few days towards, I suppose, the earlier part of the 20th, 21st and 22nd of October down here. But since that point, nothing has really occurred, and that volume uptick didn't actually affect the price action of what was going on with ADA coin in general at all. So taking everything into account, I think we really need to re-baseline this coin. So scrap all the previous videos you have seen on this coin that I've created. We are just going to put in the absolute basics and come back to square one in order to determine where we can expect to see ADA go. So currently we're sitting at a value of $2.18. Now, let's just firstly put in some key points of horizontal support and resistance. Firstly, one key thing to note is we are consistently bouncing roughly off this $2.10 mark. For us, I genuinely believe this is a major point of horizontal support for us. You can see whilst yes, we do dip below it on occasion, we always sort of seem to bounce back past that point. I think that's a real psychological point for this coin. Now, moving upwards, there is not too much going on. But if we do move up, you'll see that I suppose we can't really baseline this point right here, because as we move up, you can see whilst yes, there's plenty of price action, and probably a good point to put would be $2.25 here. But what you'll notice even in, I suppose, the past couple of days is we're getting an interesting sort of a pattern occurring. It almost looks like a spring, and it's going like this. And the waves are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and the price action is coiling. It is about to break out, and I've been saying this for a while. I didn't think it would coil this far, but it certainly has. As a result, one thing to note is what you're seeing is you're not getting lower lows. So this point seems to be holding out at $2.10 from a support point of view, but you are getting lower highs. So it's almost if we are seeing almost a bit of a triangle pattern forming in that sort of a sense. So how are we going to reflect that? It's a bit hard at this point in time just due to the way the data is currently laid out. Typically, when you're doing this sort of thing, you'd go from the very top point and go down, but really that does not work. We broke through our trend here, as you can see previously, and that has now become irrelevant. That means we need to come from this point, or roughly around this point here, in order to set ourselves a new standard. So let's really zoom in on the most recent price action that we have seen. Let's get rid of this line first and foremost. Secondly, let's identify exactly where the price action is getting smaller and smaller. One bet would be to go, potentially in this sort of a manner, as you can see, from this point and start coiling in that sort of a manner, and that would mean that we could be coiling for quite an extended period of time still, but I don't think that is really truly reflective of exactly what's going on. I think these two whiskers that we're seeing up here on the top of the candles are really just overshots. So I don't want to include them in the trend. Instead, let's go somewhere more reliable. After we broke out on this candle on the 1st of October out of that downtrend and started moving horizontally, that is the point we really need to focus on. So this is the high point from that little bit of a run that we saw. Whilst yes, we have gone higher since that point, I really think that is the base of where our data lies. Let's then start moving down as well right here. This to me is really where I think we're looking at from a, I suppose, downward slanting point of resistance. It's going in this sort of a manner. You can see that we are coiling and coiling and coiling above that $2.10 mark, but the high keeps getting lower as we go along. But we are now getting to the pointy end of things. And as you know, with the whole crypto market at the moment, we are seeing that things are going crackers. So why hasn't this happened for Cardano's ADA coin yet? Well, I think it is going to happen, but it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the more we coil, the bigger the breakout's going to be. Especially given the fact that we saw people load up here and it still didn't break out, we continued to coil. And that volume since that point has reduced since that period of time. So I believe by possibly around here, the 5th of November, that is probably going to be the point. By that stage, we're going to break out. Whether that's up, whether that's down, it's to be seen. But given the overall state of the crypto market, and ADA is quite favorable in the eyes of many crypto investors, I think we're going to be breaking upwards. And overall, as you can see, we are still in an upwards trending direction. It doesn't really matter how you cut it. We're moving in this sort of a manner. However that sits, I'm not too sure, but there is an uptrend still in play. And this almost looks like right here, a gigantic flag pattern that we are seeing. So how that plays out, we will find out. But we are in a major phase of coiling at this point in time. What you'll see as well as we bring in some other indicators, I'm going to bring in I'll bring in the moving averages first. Let's bring in a few of those. Let's bring in our 20-day moving average just for the short term, our 50-day for a more medium term viewpoint. Bring that in, red, chuck that right there. And of course, longer term 200-day moving average as well, chuck that one on. You can see that 200-day moving average is currently sitting at a value of $1.78. That is coming up. You can see clearly from that we are trending in an upwards manner. Now, something interesting and something that I think could be potentially influencing what is occurring right now is this death cross that we saw when the 20-day crossed below the 50-day moving average on the 25th of September, and that point was at roughly $2.40. I think that's why there hasn't been much strength, I suppose, from a moving average indicator perspective, but it's now worth noting that this 20-day moving average and this 50-day moving average are once again getting close, and we're going to see a golden cross this time with the 20-day crossing above the 50-day moving average, which will syndicate, or I suppose signify, a change in momentum and a change in the direction that we're seeing right now. The 20 days at $2.17, the 50 days at $2.25. So I really do think that this will be a major turning point when we see that 20-day moving average cross above the 50-day. I think a lot of traders are looking for these major indicators in order to signify the next moves that are going to occur. So, in saying that, let's look at the MACD. And what you'll notice here is we have been consolidating substantially for an extended period of time. These are really, really tiny movements. Whilst yes, all of them are green bar one, not much is happening. And this was after a major, red period where we saw declines from all-time highs of Cardano. We saw that 12-day EMA cross back above the 26-day EMA, but not much occurred. Now I think that's largely due to the fact that we saw this death cross still occur here. We need to see big moves, and we need to see the volume coming in, as you have not seen recently, in order to support the buying action that will drive the price of ADA coin in an upwards direction. Right now, what we're looking at is a period of quietness, a period of coiling, a period of accumulation potentially. So I think the MACD, not really helpful for us at the moment. Look at these moving averages instead. RSI, it's going to show something very, very similar. Not much is happening. We're sitting smack bang right now, 49.76. We're basically as close to 50 as you can get. We could move upwards, we could move downwards, but the key here is that we have coiled like this for an extended period of time. For over a month, we have been coiling in this sort of a fashion. So we're sitting here waiting for a move, and when it does move, it is going to be an explosive move. And ideally, obviously, everyone is hoping for that to be an upwards move. Will it be an upwards move? I think it will be. I really do believe that this will be a big upwards move. The volume will come in. Watch for this 20-day to cross above the 50-day. I think that's the indicator for us. So let's say we break out. What is the target? Well, the target is going to be quite simple, and it's going to be based purely on the price action that has occurred previously. So let's bring up our key point here. I think the target initially should be that $2.45 mark where we hit previously on the 25th of September, and you can see plenty of price action has occurred over this point over, I suppose, the past few months. That is really going to be a major target for us, $2.45. Once we smash through that, then I think we're off to all-time highs. Going all the way up here, we may encounter a bit of resistance potentially at $2.95, but once we pass that, all-time highs we will be aiming for above the $3 mark. That is really where we want to be. ADA at this point in time is certainly a much slower burn than many other cryptocurrencies, but ADA is one of those coins supported by the Cardano blockchain that will be around long term, and that does have a very, very bright future. I'd love to know your thoughts on where ADA is going to be within the next few weeks down in the comments section below. Of course, if you did enjoy today's analysis, please remember to leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. We cover crypto, stocks, investing, and wealth management. But I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.